Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Football Inc. First and foremost, my apologies to Jonny and to the rest of you for being late. I had some last-second dramas I couldn't avoid. Do apologise. But more importantly, I hope you're all happy and healthy doing the things you love. I hope you hung around for a little while. And you're going to spend the next hour and 15 with us as we talk about all things football. That's what we do here. My club, Elche. Yeah, still unbeaten, baby. We got Cremonese to talk about. We got other European football, and we have yesterday's big games in the Premier League to run through. Hope you can do us some favors. Please smash the like button for us. Like, your life depends on it. It doesn't, but imagine it did. Smash the granny out of it. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. All you got to do to join the chat is rub the sub people, hit the notification bell button, and drop some comments thick and fast. Let me know what a donut I am for keeping you all waiting. And lastly, penultimately, guys, get over yourselves onto Spotify, onto Apple Pods, all that podcast platforms. We're everywhere. Please make sure you find us and follow us and give us a 5-star rating. We really appreciate it. And lastly, by no means least, today's show is, of course, sponsored by okjersey.com. There is the URL. There is the QR code. If you're lazy, get your camera out. If you want to go and get yourself a shirt or 2 or 10, then you can do so for the best prices in town. Replica jerseys don't come better value, better quality, and better paste in the delivery than from OK Jersey. But what they also offer you is a slight little incentive. If you use code FINC, F-I-N-C, at checkout, you get an extra 8% off. Can't ask fairer than that. Jonny, how are you, my man?
I'm all right. Thanks for that good intro there. Yeah, listen, it was a good weekend watching the game. I was nail biting. I was biting my nails watching the Manchester City game. I felt like I had investment in it, and I didn't even put a bet on it. It's purely because I wanted Man City to hold on and win the game, which obviously doesn't happen very often. I just felt that, before the game, I thought Man City would struggle, Sean, because of the fact that they played a really hard game on Thursday night, and Arsenal played like in the afternoon on Tuesday. So they had 2 and a bit full days more rest. They looked the fresher team. I'll be honest with you. Man City finished tired, and they just didn't hang on. But we'll talk about the game and how it managed to, did he throw it away? Was it the right tactics and whatever? But good to see everyone in the chat, all of those that are still supporting us and getting us to where we are. Really, really, really appreciate all the support we've been getting. And as Sean said, keep the audio ticking over there. We're starting to get a few of you now who were listening to us and giving us a follow and listen over there. But also, it's the Ballon d'Or evening tonight, Shawnee. The Ballon d'Or. Yeah, Ballon d'Or tonight. Unfortunately,
Tottenham players in it.
Huh?
No Tottenham players were.
Former Tottenham players. We'll go through the list in a minute, but the player who's meant to be the favourite to win it, Ousmane Dembele, is not actually going to be there because the PSG game was delayed and eventually postponed, which was meant to be on the weekend, till tonight. So whilst they're all feasting,
why was it postponed?
Due to heavy rain, Sean.
Well, there was a lot of that this weekend. The Blackburn game was washed out, wasn't it?
Yeah, rain stopped play.
You were like drowning over in Brighton, weren't you, at some point on the way home?
Yeah, rain stopped play. I thought that was only cricket, but no. So he won't actually be there. The likely recipient of the award tonight, I'd be shocked if he doesn't. I think it's 43 GA in 44 games from the La Liga 1 and the Champions League.
Did Harry Kane make the list?
He did.
Do the list now. Give me the list. I'm new information.
I sent you the list on the thing, right? So let's start. Okay, so we got some good ones on there. We've got Jude Bellingham, no surprise there. Ousmane Dembele, as we mentioned before. Donnarumma, the goalkeeper. Desiree Doué, Denzel Dumfries, Sergio
Guirassy.
Guirassy.
Guirassi's on the Ballon d'Or list.
Don't ask me. Don't
Mate,
ask.
he was a...
Don't ask. Don't ask.
He was the player that I turned around and said last year when Tottenham were linked, I went, was it something before last? I said, he looks clumsy to me. He looks a player that he's peaked a little bit late in his career. All of his goals look clumsy. And then he goes and scores like 13 games in the Champions League. And now he's a Ballon de Foot contestant. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Victor McDonald's Gyökeres, Erling the Robot Haaland, Hakimi, Harry Kane, Kvaratskhelia, Lewandowski, Alexis McAllister, Lautaro Martinez, Kylian Mbappe. This is the one I love, Scott McTominay.
Yeah.
Incredible story. You know, leave Man United, see glory. Leaves Man United, like...
It's a long bloody list, though, isn't it? Jesus
It's
Christ.
a long list. I'll carry on. Nuno Mendes, João Neves, Michael Olise, Cole Palmer, Pedri, who for me is just like on another level, Rafinha, Declan Rice, Fabian Ruiz, Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Vinicius Junior, Vitinha, Florian Wirtz, and Lamine Yamal.
Hang about. So hang on. Let's just work out by team there, by club. So Paris have got 1, 2,
Should do,
3, 4, 5. Half of Paris Saint-Germain's team make the short list. How else you got there? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. More than half of PSG's first 11 make the Ballon d'Or shortlist. Real Madrid get 1, 2, 3. I mean, Chelsea get an honourable mention. Desiree Doué. Although no, Desiree Doué's now at Paris, so 7.
João Neves. I mean, actually, James from Spurs. James from Spurs Related is complaining that Lamine Yamal is mentioned last, but James, it is alphabetical, mate. It's alphabetical. João Neves.
No, wait, sorry. That's what you James is right. There's 8 of PSG's 11, mate. What the hell are we doing here? 8 of their 11 have made the Ballon d'Or nominee. It's just a glorified PSG jolly, isn't it? What are we doing here?
Hang on a second.
Where is it? Where's it being held?
Can I just say, is not Arteta up for Manager of the Year because they did beat Real Madrid?
Is it? Oh, slide dig at Arteta. We got more digs for him later on. We got more digs than a bloody dorm room going on over here for Arteta today.
So bit of a listen. I would be shocked. I'd be really shocked if Dembele doesn't win it. It's just a bit of a shame.
Who else could win it? In reality, it's not going to be Bellingham. He's done well, but he's not going to be in.
Desiree Doué had a really good season, but I can't see past. I mean, Lamine Yamal.
It's not Guirassy. It's not Gyökeres. It's not Haaland. It's not Hakimi. It's not. I mean, Harry Kane obviously scored how many goals he scored. It's not going to be Cratch. Not Lewandowski.
How can Dembele look? He scored 43 goals for 43 GA in 44 games, and he was injured for quite a while as well. On top of it all, so if you're saying that, how many people were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's probably like 25 names there. So if Dembele can't make it because PSG are playing, is that the same for basically every other PSG player apart from Donnarumma? Because he's no longer at PSG. Let's be honest. Most teams, if you look at the players, you would take most of those players. In fact, nearly all of them in your team.
Of course.
So is it really far-fetched? It's
just a waste of time. It's a waste of, like, why is Rafinha there? Like, let's be honest, he's never going to win. Never going to win. Right? Like Florian Wirtz, never going to win.
Votes. Can you imagine if Scott McTominay won?
Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you, Scott McTominay hats off to him. You know, he's really, you know, he was an also-ran at Man United, undeservedly so. He kept scoring goals for Scotland and getting disrespect at Man United because he wasn't an Eni or an Anoni, right? He's gone out to Italy, to Naples, not the easiest place to go to. It's fiery. You know, if you don't cut the mustard, they'll soon tell you. And he ends up winning Serie A and the player of this season. Let
me ask this. It's a perfect segue, right? Good luck to all of them.
Yeah.
But is Scott McTominay an example? And we spoke about this yesterday. I mentioned Perchie's take that it's not the players that are the problem at United. It's the club, and that when they leave, they go on and do well, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, look, and there's a fair point to it, and it's a good argument. However, I also think that there's certain leagues, certain horses for courses. Scott McTominay was not the best midfielder in the Premier League. Is he an example of the fact that the Premier League is just super strong, and that most good but not sensational midfielders, like if Bergvall went and played for Napoli, would he be known as the greatest 19-year-old in how old is 19, 20? Would he be known as the greatest 19-year-old in midfield football at the moment, because he'd be playing for a bigger club in a league that is just easier to play in? Or is it that it's not a worse league, a weaker league, it's just a different league, and that if you are a talented footballer, then the chances are that if you leave the Premier League to go to, you know, my point being, is it not just a tale that like players like Bissouma, for example, could go to somewhere like Italy and resurrect their careers and be thought of as a champion player again? Because anywhere else apart from the Premier League is just, it's easier for people that have built their careers in the Premier League to step down, even if you're stepping up to a bigger team.
I just think that there's something fundamentally wrong at Man United at the moment, that the players, you know, have left, you know. I mean, I wondered why Dean Henderson was allowed to leave Man United. I'll be honest with you. I thought he was a good goalkeeper. You know, he's gone on to win trophy. You look at, what's his name? Even Sancho, like, you know, he wasn't doing it. He's not doing it there either, but at least he won a trophy elsewhere. I just think there's something about Manchester United at the moment where you can't flourish. The expectation is such that players are just not reaching their full potential. Why is it all these players? Why is it that, you know, Højlund goes to Man United having absolutely smashed Serie A and can't score for toffees? You know, 70-odd million pounds. Goes back to Italy, he's scoring again. Why did Scott McTominay, you know, not just play well, went on to become Serie A player of the season? You know, that's a massive accolade. You know, just to say, well, he had a good season for Napoli, great. But, you know, he ended up winning the title and getting that acknowledgement above all the other Italians. I mean, let's be serious. For the Italians to nominate a non-Italian for a Brit, for a Scot, he's still British, but for a Scot, is something else. I think that it's. I just think,
he's still British, but he's a Scot.
He's a Scot. No, I just think that it's Man United as it stands at the moment.
You think Man United? Yeah. Okay.
I think it's Man United at the moment.
So then, by that rationale, are you saying that if a player left a club that was in better shape than Man United are, but that wasn't doing bits, that was thought of as a decent player but not a top player, and I'll come back to it, just an example off the top of my head, someone like let's use Bissouma, right? Let's use Bissouma. Would Bissouma go to place a 6 in Napoli and be thought of incredibly well? Or is it just, was Scott McTominay a really good player in a struggling team? Or, you know, was he just a good player in a league that's just far superior?
I don't know. Is it easy to get balloons in Naples? I don't know. I would rather take a different. You can certainly find some industries, mate, that strap balloons to their Naples, if you know what I mean. I would rather take another player. I just think right now, they're playing the system. He will die on the hill, Amorim. He said, not even the Pope could get me to change my system. So if you're there right now and you're playing his system, first of all, we had Eric 10 weeks and his system, and he couldn't get the system right. So if you're not fitting into the system and you're sat on the sidelines, all right, I'll use the Spurs analogy. Look at Jed Spence with Ange Postecoglou. Left out the Europa League, wasn't getting a game, only got game time, pure and simple, because
injuries,
of injuries. Now, had that injury not happened and he not got given the game, he might have gone. Say he went to Naples. Then
he did go to Italy, and he wasn't played that much.
He didn't do terrible. He didn't do terrible.
But he didn't slam it. He didn't smash it out of the park.
No, I'm just saying there are lots of examples. It can be a system sometimes that fails the player. But I actually do think, if I'm brutally honest, that a good player should rise to the top, you'd say. But it's Manchester United at the moment. It just seems a quagmire of crap at the moment. And what's his name? Who plays out on the right, the winger, the young kid?
Hello? No.
What's he called? God. I can't think. I've had a brain freeze.
Yeah, Ahmad Diallo.
Ahmad, yeah. Right now,
Ahmad didn't sound right.
Yeah, so I just think Ahmad should be absolutely smashing it week in and week out right now. I'm not sure, why he's not getting the game time.
And Kobe Mainu.
Yeah. Now, could Kobe Mainu leave because he's not getting game time? I mean, how do you go from rising star to England to falling off a cliff and can't get a game? And I thought Ahmad, last season there were games where Ahmad single-handedly changed the game for Man United. Yet he's not integral. He's not an integral part of Manchester United's starting lineup.
United massively. We said this all throughout the summer. They had so much to do, and obviously, Ratcliffe pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes by claiming that they were poor, and then goes and drops whatever it was, 180 million quid or something thereabouts on three forward players, but didn't fix the rest of the roof. And it's like someone who's
literally.
Exactly. But metaphorically as well. Like you fix the roof when you have the money to do so. In their team, they needed a goalkeeper. Semi Lemons ain't it. He isn't it. 100%. Those of you that aren't that familiar with Semi Lemons, if you have access to the Y Scout, and I would encourage everyone here who's got a bit of money and is really interested in football to get the Y Scout tool. Go and have a look at Semi Lemons, everything real. Go and have a look at what he's like in not just the highlights. And he is an absolute. He's got just as much of a bozo gene in him as Onana does. And they didn't go and get another centre back. And you've got a guy there that is trying to force, he's trying to jam those. I think I might have a video that summarizes it, mate.
While you're doing that, can I just read? This is from Bruno Fernandes yesterday. I don't know whether this can lay some light on it, but Bruno Fernandes said it's very tough for some players to become Manchester United players because this can be very heavy to come out of this tunnel and get out there. Remember, it's a privilege for everyone, and everyone is very proud to wear the shirt. But isn't it a privilege just to play football? Isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it everyone's dream? Even if you ask a guy in League One, do you feel privileged? He'll tell you yes. He feels privileged that he's playing football for a living.
If you're earning 5 times the amount of money that the average person has to do, and all you got to do is kick a ball around on a football pitch in front of thousands of adoring fans, it ain't a bad life.
No, if you can do earn more in 1 week than people will ever see in a year, or 2 years, or 3 years,
exactly
5 years. Do you know what I mean? It's, the privilege is just being able to play the game. The money comes. But I think Amorim. But I genuinely think Amorim
he's so dead set on his formation, but he knows he needs to find a way to fit players like Bruno Fernandes in. That he'll put Bruno Fernandes in a 2-man midfield alongside Ugarte or alongside Casemiro or whatever, just because he needs to put his best players in. But he's so rigid and too stubborn on his tactics, and he's so long in the tooth on it for a young guy that it won't end well. I've got a video for it. I think we can talk over.
This is a square. Can you guess which spot that goes in? That's right. It goes in the square hole. And how about this rectangle? That one, that goes in there too. Up next, we've got this thin rectangle. Can you guess where that goes? That's right. It goes in the square hole. And up next, a cylinder. I think that goes in the square hole.
It carries on like that. It's a brilliant video. Summarizes Manchester United and Amorim. Everyone needs to fit into my system, to my hole. And that's it. That pause on that one. By the way, just quickly. Oh, good, Joe. Just a couple of super stickers, mate. Couple of super stickers.
You do those.
Deanie Law, big up to you, my man. You've started the super sticker train, and we love you for it. Choo to you, Dino. Big up to you, my man. I'm still waiting for you to message me, mate. If you're going tomorrow night, shut up. What are you doing? Only one of them. Dino, if you are going tomorrow night, message me, mate, and we'll meet up for a beer beforehand, buddy, in the number 8 bar or whatever.
Wednesday, Sean.
What? Doncaster?
Doncaster's Wednesday, isn't it?
Is it?
If you go there tomorrow, it might be empty.
Is it Wednesday? Fuck, I've got to rearrange my plans. I thought it was tomorrow.
Let me read you some more Manchester United things. All right, one more. Go on.
One more quickly. Thank you very much, Dino. And Daniel Hooser, big up to you from, where's he from, Johnny? Where's he from?
Darkest Peru.
Well, not for much longer.
No.
Darkest Peru to muddy Margate on October the 2nd. And then he's coming to see
down to bloody Margate. Cockerels and Hills. No, Cockerels and Hills. We'll have to do a Cockney down to Margate.
That was a Northern. That was about a load of Yorkshire accent, I'm pretty sure.
I forgot. Margate.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Daniel. Safe trip back home, mate. Safe trip back home. Let us know when you're going on Wednesday. If you're going, or whenever you're going, mate, and we'll come up and meet you for a game, buddy. It'd be good to see you, Daniel. Appreciate you very much, Mr. Hoosen. And also the Bears Cave, Danny Boy, the Bears Cave has chumped in. Big up to you, Danny Boy. Hope you're okay, mate. Hope Woking is treating you well. I think you're from around Woking, aren't you, my man? You're not far from me, buddy, but we keep that sort of stuff a little bit.
Adam Phillip says the Peruvian Jolly Boys outing.
I'd go. Yeah. I can't wait to go up Machu Picchu.
On a Machu Picchu. Let's get back to the comedy sketch, which is Ruben Amorim. He says, Ruben Amorim, Sir Jim Ratcliffe asked to change the system. No, not once. Not even the Pope can make me do that. I love that one. Ruben Amorim on Rashford scoring. Rasmus Højlund also scored. I'm happy for Rasmus. It is the same thing with him, guys. You are so tough on Rasmus, but he scored also. So let's notice that. Well, hang on a minute. You got rid of him. What? You got rid of them both, mate. What are you talking? You deemed them not good enough, and now you're sticking up for them. Now they're gone. Meanwhile, you ostracise them and cut the value by saying they ain't good enough to play for Man United. You sent them to play with the...
Mate, he ain't cut out for this level. He's not cut out.
It is one from Harry Maguire on Amorim's system. I think the formation is an easy one to go at because we're playing something a little bit different to everybody else. There's a reason. The formation has been fine. It's got to be down to the players. I'm not so sure. And Ruben Amorim, 3 points. It's trying to create the momentum. We cannot forget that we suffer a lot when we are not in the top, in our maximum in all aspects. We can lose against Grimsby. We can win against any team. We need to take that for next week. The guys
they haven't beaten any team, though, have they? You can't win against. He literally said after Arsenal they lost 1-0, and he said this is demonstration that we can beat anyone on our day. But you didn't beat anybody. You lost.
No, he's taken over from hands. He's taken over. He's honestly, it's.
What are we doing here?
I don't know what he's doing. And let me tell you, Had the goalkeeper not got sent off, I reckon they would have won, Chelsea. Probably.
Oh, yeah. Of course, yeah. Of course. Johnny, still there? I think you cut out for a second there, mate.
Yeah.
Shall we slither our way like a little snake into some European football before we come back and talk about City and Arsenal, and before we come back and talk about Bournemouth and Newcastle and the other game, Villa Sunderland, which is interesting, and we've got lots to talk about that one as well. Should we have a little dance across to European football?
Yeah, why not?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for that part of the show.
It's that time once again. It's time to check in. We're going round the world to all our second teams.
Shall we start in a little place, a little known place in La Liga that's currently not tasted the horrible flavors of defeat, and look at my team Elche, mate. Our team Elche. No, it's not your team, Elche, but it's
I feel part of it, even though they're not my team. They are your team. 1-0 winners.
Comfortable winners as well against Oviedo, by the way. Comfortable winners.
Comfortable 1-0.
And Andre Silva, mate. Andre Silva turning into quite some player, by the way. He looks very, very handy. I checked out the highlights of it. And look, mate, we sit fifth. Let me share this tab instead. Let's get this screen up on the bad boy here. Elche till I die. We sit fifth, mate. We're in the Europa League spots. And look at that. This is the important thing. 0 defeats. A nice little micro community shared only by Real Madrid and Barcelona. 9 points from 15.
Look where I am. Down there. Keep going.
Look there.
Where's Atletico Madrid?
You're Atletico Club. You're Bilbao.
Yeah, I know. Where's Atletico Madrid? Oh, they're down there. Yeah.
We don't worry about them. We worry about Bilbao, mate. You're also on 9 points. 3, but you lost twice.
We've lost twice. We're a bit inconsistent at the moment, as could be. We lost 2-0 on the weekend at home. Listen, Elche, the surprise team.
Quickly.
Yeah.
These lot came second, didn't they? Or won the league? Was it they did a couple of years ago? Manchester City's team.
They started terrible. Real Sociedad, obviously, were going to struggle once they, first of all, they sold Marino, and then they sold, what's his name, to Arsenal. So,
yeah,
they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle there. And the Chats team are
Valencia. Where all the oranges are.
Yeah, Valencia. They'll be able to squeeze out a couple of more results, I reckon. They'll be moving up the table.
The juice is worth a squeeze over in Valencia.
The juice is worth a squeeze. Let's go over to Italy.
Yeah, let's go and find out what's happened with Cremonese.
Well, I didn't manage to Cremonese over anybody, but we did manage.
0-0 draw.
0-0 draw, mate. Look at our league table. Look at this. Look at us. Zoom in. Have a zoomer in that one. Cremonese, look, unbeaten.
Love that.
Right? Including
between us, mate, we don't really know what the taste of defeat is this year, do we?
Yeah.
We don't really know it,
And you look at the fact that we actually beat AC Milan away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're 8 points. We're only 2 points off the top. Incredible.
They're not scoring enough goals, though.
No, I know, but it's the Thomas Frank system. If you don't goal, you can't get beaten. That's our motto. I'm trying to get a Cremonese T-shirt at the moment as we speak. I'm in negotiations for a T-shirt. Look at there's Juventus. There's the Chats team looking very good at the moment, looking strong. Although they drew.
Look at this, mate. That in 3 days they conceded 7 goals and can score 8.
I know.
That's like the Ange Postecoglou of Italian football.
What happened, though? In Italian football, it used to be you'd be lucky if you saw a goal. Instead of 1-0 to the Arsenal, it'd be 1-0 to the Italians. Roma, you lost.
My team. Well, they scored away. They were taking the Pisa. on the 30th of August. They managed to get a 1-0 victory yesterday against Lazio. Is Lazio in Rome or is Lazio somewhere else?
That's right.
That's a Roma derby then. So they won away at Lazio.
Yeah.
In the Roma derby.
Aren't you? You're third, are you fourth? Third or fourth? Fourth, yeah.
We're doing all right, mate. We're doing all right. We're
fourth. Same points as us, mate. You're same points as Cremonese.
No. Yeah. We got a point more. We got a point more than you.
Oh, have you? Oh, right, okay.
So look, all three of our teams, Juve, Roma, and Cremonese, between the chat, myself, and yourself, we're all European contenders here. It's good to see. It's good to see.
Let's go over to La France.
I think we did this one. I think we did this one. They'd already played by the time we did it. My team, Rennes, they drew 2-2 with Nantes. They don't score draw with the weirdos.
I can't wait till the Nantes pay the Brest.
Yeah, they're not interested in that sort of thing, though, are
they? No, definitely not. Lazio and Roma play in the same stadium. Thanks for reminding him.
Oh, they play in the same stadium as well, do they? Wow.
Wow. Same as Inter and
they ran away at the same time. Fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense.
Metz were at the bottom, but they pulled off a bit.
You got smashed, mate. You got smashed again. 5-2.
Oh, listen, we're doing better. We're doing better. We scored a couple of goals.
You got absolutely torn apart yesterday, mate. Torn apart.
Absolutely shocking.
Ansu Fati getting a couple.
Who's that?
Ansu Fati gets a couple of goals.
Well, it shows you how good the French league is, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Mate, let's bring it back to hometown though, shall we? Let's bring it back to the hometown. Let's talk a little bit about.
Go to the championship quickly. We got to do the championship.
Oh, I forgot about them.
Quickly. Wrexham
already played that, hadn't they? By the time we
No, I don't think so. I don't think they'd all played. Nice to see Wrexham finally getting a win. His job was on the line. Just shows you one win can spin it.
Wrexham are now 15th. Not a problem. Not a problem for them. My boys are back up.
Yeah,
my boys took
Swan 1-0. You won 1-0. But the Chats team, Bristol City, hadn't played when we did our last game. So how are Bristol City?
They lost to Oxford.
Wow. 3-1. You know who plays for Oxford, don't you?
I do know who plays for Oxford, but he wasn't on the bench, was he?
Did he not play?
No, he didn't play.
Didn't play? Didn't come on?
Oh, no, he did. He scored. He started. My bad. He started.
Yeah, I thought so. Lancashire.
Yeah.
That's the one that Ange Postecoglou didn't think was good enough. Seems to be...
He's had a good season so far with Lancashire.
Yeah. Yeah, Lancashire's...
That's a good name. The Kirschschmacker.
Kirschschmacker. No, he's going up in value. There's the guy that's going to end up costing £8 to £10 million. That'll pay for your academy.
Let's have a look. See how many goals has he scored this year? He scored... Oh, hang on. Get rid of that. He has 3 goals and 6 appearances. Mate, you know what? I said this to people writing. I think Will Lancashire, he's not like a flashy player, but he's got a little habit of being in the right place at the right time. I'd much rather him be at Tottenham. Well, actually, no, I'm glad he's out there getting his minutes and doing his thing. But I've got more hope for him than I have for Dane Scarlett, put it that way.
We bought him. You know who bought him? Our guy in Italy bought him. Made them cough up £2 million for him from Sheffield United. He was at Arsenal, went to Sheffield United, and we paid the £2 million to bring him back. He looks to me like an old-fashioned centre forward, and I couldn't quite understand it. I mean, he scored that goal out in Galatasaray. Yes, he made a mistake. Yeah, got sent off, what have you. But come on, he's a kid. We would have lost that game anyway. We were getting absolutely smashed to bits. But he never really saw the minutes again after that. It was like he held him, responsible.
There's something about Will Lancashire. I've got absolutely no problem if Thomas Frank, I let him have his year at Oxford. If he bangs in, I don't even care if he bangs 10 goals. I'm sure he'll do better than that. But if he gets 10 goals, it's not a bad return. but I genuinely think he's the sort of player, mate. I said it from the moment I first saw him. I was like, there's something about his positional play. I don't think he's going to be like someone that's on the edge of the box, like creating mayhem and then whips one top bins. That's not the sort of player. But like Gary Lineker wasn't that sort of player, Johnny. Gary Lineker was the guy who just understood the game of football and knew how to be in the right place at the right time to put the ball in the back of the net. And I think Will Lancashire did it. He did it he did it against Galatasaray before he got sent off. Yeah. He did it. Was it end of last season or pre-season? He did it where he got a header. It was pre-season against Reading, wasn't it, or something? He got one from Luka Vuskovic against Reading. We were at the game together. Yeah. There's something about he just seems to be a kind of right place, right time. A poacher.
So why did Spurs pay £2 million for him? And let's be honest, right? He scored 3 goals for Oxford. You know, Oxford are at the bottom of the league. And the other thing, which I really like to see, is he played the full 90 minutes, Sean. 90 minutes of football. So let's go.
I think he'll be good. I've got a lot higher hopes for him than I do for Dane Scarlett. But listen, this isn't a Tottenham show. So if we are...
let's go to the board draw. Let's quickly do the board draw. Bournemouth versus Newcastle. The least said about this game, the better. Newcastle, having come off of a tough game on Thursday against Barcelona, we're always going to try and tough it out. And tough it out they did. I think Eddie Howe will be the happier of the two parties. Iriola will be frustrated.
Defensively, Newcastle were very, very good. They brought back in their... what's his name? The tall fella. Hang on, let me get the
Burns.
No, not him. Sorry, not him. There's another one. They brought back in
Malik Theo.
Sven Botman was extraordinarily good yesterday. Very, very good. Malik Thiaw is also a brilliant player.
I thought he should have got sent off, mate. I think he could have had another
yellow.
Could have had another yellow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw the incident. Nick Walter-Mardy.
Tell you the person that I was the least impressed with, the person that I thought had like fallen off the cliff massively from last season, was this guy here, number 28, Joe Willock. I thought he was so bad yesterday. I was like, what's happened to him? Because last season he was, flying under the radar. But if you watch Newcastle last year, Joe Willock was so important to so much of their football. And this season, or at least from what I saw yesterday, he was awful. And then I went and read a few like Newcastle fan reaction things, watched a few fan reaction stuff, and they were all saying this wasn't the first of his bad performances. Like he just seems to have fallen off a cliff. And Newcastle look like they are suffering from the absence of Alex Isak.
Well, I think also, Sean, he's trying to rotate to protect the squad. I mean, Joel Linton, Trippier, Gunamesh, Harvey Barnes, Elanga. None of them started the game, because it was a hard game on Thursday, and, I think you have to put a lot. I can't read too much into that game. It was a really hard game against Barcelona. As I said. And then to follow that with an away trip to Bournemouth, who are in good form at the moment, I think Eddie Howe will be absolutely delighted, to be honest, to come away with it. And I think Iriola will be more the frustrated of the pair. I've got to tell you, I love Brooks. He's such a nice little player. Not Garth Brooks, David Brooks.
No. Listen, it was. I had two screens up at the same time on my big screen here, 2 games up, and I had this one on mute, but I was watching it next to the Villa Sunderland game, and I felt like Newcastle just defended like beavers, and they were very, very impressive defensively. And I completely concur with you that they set up defensively. They set up with the back three. They were probably tired. Let's rotate some of the top end players. Yeah. You're right. The Barcelona game would have like taken a little bit of the energy out of the fans. They were the game against Barcelona. The fans were insane. They were so good. Like, it's such an unbelievable place to play to go to watch football on a European night. And they were a little bit unlucky, I thought. I thought they deserved something out of that game against Barcelona. They didn't get it. Rashford, a couple of moments of magic. And then to come to a place like Bournemouth, to walk away with a well-earned point. They didn't really create anything. But for me, I think you're right. I think that the happier of the two managers would absolutely be Eddie Howe for sure. Bournemouth, though, are very impressive this year, mate. And they're a little quiet shout for a European
You know
place.
who I really like? I really like Senesi at the back. I think they've pulled out another
He's
gem.
good as well. This guy's very good. Buffalo Diakate, he's very, very good.
I mean, this is what I'm saying. You know, they've sold, you know, over 150 million, nearly 200 million pounds worth of talent. And, you know, they haven't spent a lot of money. And yet the recruitment is bang on. Absolutely bang on.
He makes them tick. I've never really rated Tyler Adams before, but he does make them tick.
He's a mopper up. David Brooks for me has been fantastic. And let me tell you, the one player who I wanted Spurs to sign a couple of years ago, who's really been a disappointment, is just starting to tick, and that's Alex Scott.
He got injured, didn't he? He got injured a couple of years ago. He had a bad injury.
No, I think he's done very well.
No, you're right. They have replaced that back line pretty well, considering how much of it was decimated by the.
Has done well. Senesi has done well. Just done very well there.
Not too much about this Alex Jimenez guy. See you later. Sorry.
Let's move on to Sunderland. Listen, Sunderland were doing really well in this game, and then Renindo Mandava. Raldildo for the kick out. I heard you say that you thought it was a bit a bit rash. I mean, look, his reaction was over the top, but you can't do that. You can't do that stuff.
Yeah.
And
especially his age, mate. He's 31. He's been around the block. He was brilliant in France. Otherwise, I think I spoke about this before. I remember that the funniest clip I've ever seen was him, and it actually, I forget who he was playing for. Was it Metz or Lons or something? I think it might have been Lons. He dived for the ball along the floor, and then he sort of like did wiggled like a worm to put his head in front of a block that actually almost won them the title a few years ago. Then he went across to Spain to La Liga, smashed it out of the park. And he's like, you know, he's a very good player, very capable, very sensible. And I think Tottenham were even linked with him, mate, at one point in the summer. But he went to Sunderland. He's a good player, but you're right, like stupid. For someone, you'd forgive it on a 18, 19-year-old that's wet behind the ears. But to do it when you're 31, to kick out like that.
Honestly, it was ridiculous. So you thought at that moment that Sunderland were really going to be up against it. But they were having none of it. The way they got forward, I've got to tell you, Granit Xhaka has been absolutely immense. I mean, he is absolutely everywhere. He's driving that team on. Even when he doesn't have the ball, he's conducting that midfield, pushing forward, telling players where to go, pointing at players where they should be. And they cause Villa all sorts of trouble. Yeah. Set pieces especially. You know, they kept finding the space, even though they had 10 players. It wasn't like 10 and, you know, they can't find any space. They were attacking Villa and really against the run of play, massively against the run of play. Matty Cash, who I'm not a big fan of, he's not my favourite player. Yeah. It's an absolute rasper that the keeper made a complete and utter hash of it. And I thought, you know what, that could be it now. You know, will the floodgates open? Villa finally banged that goal in, but they were having none of it. Johnny,
mate, the most understated player that Sunderland have signed this year is that Siddiqui fella.
Yeah,
I think he cost like 15 million quid. He is. I think he might have got man of the match. I think he might have got man of the match when it was given. He came from Union St Gauloise, right, which is Brighton's sister club. And by the way, another example, bro, of why you shouldn't undervalue and dismiss and undermine Belgian players. Like your boy Ashwari.
Yeah.
Like the guy who came from Charleroi, whose name escapes me right now, like 99th percentile for like all those, you know, the big fella, I forget, but he went to another team in I think he actually went to Union St Gauloise, funnily enough. But that Siddiqui guy has come in, mate. Listen, people need to stop sleeping on Belgian football. They have to stop sleeping on it. People think that Dutch football's better. German football, arguably probably is. but like, I think the Belgium league in a few hotspots, but I think that the Belgium league is slowly getting there. And if people are asleep and they think that, if you're a team that gets Brugge or you get USG in the Champions League, for example, and you have to go away to Belgium, difficult place, mate. Difficult place. And Siddiqui is an example of that whole pair. Like, he's coming into the Premier League and he's having absolutely no problem adapting. I've got
to tell you as well. When you look at the strength of depth, I mean, I'm a big fan of Geertruida, who used to be out in Holland, went out to RB Leipzig, and he's out here now. He couldn't even get on. He's on the bench, and he's a quality player that can. I mean, he came on, I think, with about 10 to 15 to go. But there's a player that can play right back, right centre back, right midfield, and play as a 6. And Wilson Isidore again with the goal. And they deserved it, Sean. They absolutely deserved it. They hit the bar. They had numerous chances. But
let's talk about Villa a little bit, because Villa just look fucking shocking, though, Johnny, don't they, mate? They just don't look like they're.
You something, Sean, in your note, in your email. If you look, I sent you a chart there on chances created.
Let me get it up. Hang on.
You look for Aston Villa. Let's see if I've got it.
Yeah, I've got it here. I'll bring it up now.
Comfortably the second worst expected goal difference in the Premier League, and the most high turnovers facing the Premier League this season. Have you got it there?
Yeah, it's coming up now. 1 second. There we go. Oh, I can't. That'll do. Yeah, Villa have comfortably the second worst expected goal difference in the Premier League.
I mean, it's just
second expected goal difference. So XG is minus 4.6. So they should have conceded 4.6 goals more than they have conceded. Is that what they're saying?
I think so. They've also got the most high turnovers facing the Premier League this season, 40. Then comes Crystal Palace with 37, and then behind them, Newcastle with Wolves with 34. So,
what do you think? What do you think the short-term future holds for Villa, Johnny?
Well, I've got to be honest with you. If they only had the Premier League, I think they would arrest the problem. But the fact that they're now going into the Europa League, I'm not sure are they playing this Thursday? I'm not sure.
Yeah, hang on, I'll get it up. I think they're in the. They are. They'll be playing this Thursday. Yeah, they've got. Who have they got first up? They've got. Bologna at home on Thursday night.
Okay, so they could have done without this sort of game, to be truthful with you.
Bologna on the back of a 1-0 win against Como yesterday or 2 days ago,
which is a good win.
It's a great win.
Yeah,
great win. And let's Bologna's team, by the way. I'm trying to think of do I recognise these players? Skorupski in goal, don't know him. Zortea, Vitic, Hegem, Likog, Giannis. Let me bring this up so I can show you. I'm not sure I recognise many of these players. This is Bologna's team that played against Como. Orsolini, good player, very good player. Orsolini, Cambiaghi, don't know. Fabian, not sure. Castro, Moro. I don't recognise most of their team, to be honest.
Did he get it wrong a bit yesterday? Because I'll be honest with you, I really liked Buendia when he was at Norwich, and I thought, he was going to be a really good player, but he's gone off the boil. I really expected Harvey Elliott to start that game. I thought it was a game crying out, for Harvey Elliott, the pace, backwards and forwards. He came on, I think, after about 60 minutes, and he had one fantastic chance, which he put wide, which he should have buried. But I'm not sure.
Massive disappointment, mate. This guy, Evan Gassand, and I really liked him. I really liked him.
Doors. Is it early doors? Is it early doors?
Yeah, it is for sure. Did he come? Is it from Rennes? Did it come from Rennes? Because I remember he was linked to Tottenham as well. Sorry, Nice. He came from Nice. He's been shocking though. When I watched it, I was like, I rated him. I said, I'll expose myself here. I said, keep a lookout for every. He was in my fantasy team, Johnny. I put him in my fantasy team. That's how confident I was he was going to smash it. And thus far, he has been fucking awful, bro. He's been awful.
He hasn't been good.
Shows you what I know. Shows you what I know.
It hasn't been good. I mean, when you look at the fact that they're lying in 18th with a -4 goal difference, and only 3 points. And let's be honest, they should have won that game yesterday. When Sunderland went down to 10 men, Sunderland are old. Can we have a quick mention about Ollie Watkins? What's going on there?
I was about to say to you, mate, I don't know what's going on there, bro. He's been shockingly bad as well. He doesn't feel like I don't know whether he wants out or he wanted out. I don't know. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Working for Arsenal, wasn't he? Early doors. He
Correct.
was saying, I'm an Arsenal fan.
Correct. He looks like he's distracted. He looks like he's disinterested. He's always been someone, though, that needs like 5 or 6 chances to score one, but he was getting 5 or 6 chances under Emery for the last 2 seasons. I don't know whether it's like the kind of, has someone take the jam out of their donut a little bit because of the ability to or maybe we just call a spade here and say that they got to where they got to by overpaying players and by kind of pushing the boundaries of their limitations within the FFP rule, and then suddenly that's been taken away, and now that like the chickens are coming home to roost a little bit, Johnny. Were they right? Were they above gravity? Were they like flying high based on over exuberance in their spending, and now suddenly they can't do it? That the jam's been taken out of their donut. I don't know.
I think that final result really was a kick in the bollocks for them, where they should have got that VAR decision, which took them out the Champions League. Players thought they were going to be in the Champions League. They weren't, and they seem to have fallen off from that point. They were still going on about it. And let's be honest, Morgan Rogers has not been performing, right? He hasn't. No. Right, he does not look like your £80 million player that everyone was talking about right now. And
I agree.
Had my club spent £80 million and he was putting in those performances, I would have been very, very miffed at what's going on. We know about Jacob Ramsey being hijacked and dragged off to Newcastle. Maybe they missed him.
All doesn't feel right though at Villa Park right now, does it, Johnny? All doesn't feel right.
No,
I said really because they can't get much worse. So you wouldn't mind playing Villa right now if you are a.
They've got 2 home games coming up, right? They're at home to Bologna, and then on Sunday they're home to Fulham. And
you hope they'll win both of those for them.
It is the one I'm looking forward to next weekend is Newcastle at home to Arsenal. Maybe that's why he's resting the players.
Yeah, that's a great tie. There's always a belter of a tie in the Premier League. Let me just quickly ask this, mate. Like you write what you say about Aston Villa getting sucker punched on the final day of the season, a poor refereing decision. They would be back in the Champions League. They had massively poor situation. As much as I've got, whatever, it is what it is. Like I don't like refereeing decisions. Being responsible for outcomes that shouldn't exist, right? And it's a new reality, a new timeline. But what I would say is, mate, is that some people some ecosystems let those sorts of things affect you, and others use them as catalysts to rally back. And there is a team that I want to spend a couple of seconds talking about, Johnny, which is a team that's close to your heart because your best mate was the agent of a player that's departed them.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace were the victims of a disgusting thing that happened outside of their control with their UEFA, their frustration. I mean, what Crystal Palace, what are they? 20, is it 23 or 33 games since they've last been beaten?
Something like that. I mean, honestly, what a fantastic manager he is. I mean, I knew Glasner was a good manager. I was surprised that so many of our fans, for example, when you even mentioned Glasner, well, we don't want him. I got to tell you, I don't remember seeing Crystal Palace playing this type of football, this high up the league and consistent as they have been. I went last season.
So good. And yet they had to lick their wounds, mate. They had to lick their wounds because they were so poorly treated. They had an owner that sold up and then fucked off and then basically started doing deals with the the team that worked against them, that wrote off to UEFA to try to kind of instigate this thing in the first place, which is why so many people hate Nottingham Forest right now,
Right.
because there was a respect for Crystal Palace for the way they went about it. That 23 or 30, whatever it is, that unbeaten run includes, by the way, the Community Shield against Liverpool, and it includes the FA Cup final against Manchester City. They're still unbeaten this season, and they lost their talisman in Eze. And they had a manager that was on the cusp of saying, if you sell Gahey, I quit. And yet they've still managed to go about, and he's still managed to cultivate this kind of like us against the world mentality, where they've gone and done it. And they're fifth. And I think they're an outside shout, mate, for a legitimate top European candidate spot via the Premier League this year, not through the luck of the draw that can manifest.
They
are in a good spot, bro. They're in a very good spot. A difficult team to play against.
The problem I have with it, right, I think he's done fantastic. And if it was just the Premier League, I think they got every chance of getting into European spaces. But I don't think the squad has enough depth to challenge maybe. I said this earlier in the season. I think it could be a blessing they're out the Europa League, because I think the Conference League is poor enough that they could actually rotate their team, put out a much weaker team and still make it through and potentially win the tournament and get into the Europa League of merit. Listen, they didn't even play with Ismail Sarr yesterday. What he does, he plays as a unit. This isn't about a group of individuals. It's about how you gel the unit together. And, they're not massive names that have gone in there. Okay, Adam Walton has done an incredible job. But even without Adam Walton, they're still getting the results. Even without Ismail Sarr, who I don't think played again on the weekend, they're getting the results.
I think he did not. Yeah.
So, he
manages to drag the best out of players it's like, look at Mateta, right? He hasn't just.
We couldn't hit a barn door. He
couldn't hit a barn door, right? He was awful. He comes under the Glasner wing. You get the best out of him, but it's not momentary. And I'll compare him just for argument's sake. And I know he's slightly your boy as well. Forgive me here. But like Richarlison starts the season very well. Most Tottenham fans think it's only a matter of time until Richarlison probably regresses back to his usual mean, right? Which is like, okay, he gets a goal on the weekend, but by hook or by crook, he's not what's, Tottenham fans don't have like unbelievable, never-ending confidence. Whereas you ask a Palace fan, do you have any doubts about in the ball?
Mate,
they love him. They love him.
He's like the Messiah. I mean, Palace fans are fantastic. Have you ever been to? I've been to Palace away a few times.
Same, yeah.
It's always a great
shocking stadium, but it's a noisy
afternoon,
isn't it? Noisy afternoon.
Mate, I love that old school vibe.
Yeah.
Stadium's rocking and Palace. Yeah, I love it, mate. I love it. Give me that all day long.
Oh, here we go. Oh, Palace all over the world.
Palace. Yeah, well, let's pivot actually, because while we're talking about Palace,
hold the floor for 5 seconds. Is that all right, Scott? 5 seconds.
Yeah. Let's go. What else have we got? Hang on, let's go while he's
just start about Arsenal and Man City.
Yeah, no, I'll start. We'll just pivot actually to Arteta and how he's using Eze, because for me, I question the fact that he signed him and put him out on the left-hand side when he has played. Yes, he can drift inside, but he's way, way more effective through the middle, having that free rein like he did under Glasner. It's all very well having top players, but you've got to use them properly. I see AJ here. He also agrees. AJ, I think, did Arteta really believe that he would hold out in that first half, but him is solid, bring on these players that really should have been there from the start, Arteta and Saka and the like, and win the game in the second half. I mean, but it all backfired with that goal from Haaland. Beautiful ball, lovely pass from Reinders to Haaland, who finished off beautifully. And then you wondered what was going to happen there. But Arsenal just kept coming and coming and coming. And I'll be honest with you, I was worried before the game, similar to the Newcastle game we were talking about before. Manchester City had a really hard game on Thursday against Napoli. And Arsenal played on Tuesday afternoon at 5:30. So they had almost like 2 days rest, more than Manchester City. So I was worried about Manchester City tiring. And they did tire. There's no two ways about it. But I actually believe that if Arteta had gone full strong, playing Eze, potentially playing Saka or another on that flank, that they would have won that game. I think Manchester City were there for the taking. They looked like a wounded animal for that last 20 minutes. The fact that he took off Haaland says it all, really, Sean. I was quite surprised at that, even for the breakaway. They don't have Mamouche at the moment, so that was another benefit. They didn't have that breakaway pace of Mamouche. I thought Jeremy Doku did absolutely fantastic. He worked his absolute arse off.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Did Arsenal really deserve? I mean, look, so a lot of people blamed Donnarumma for the goal, saying he was too far out. Huh?
I think Donnarumma was poor for the goal, but I thought he was brilliant before that. What I would say is Man City played to curtail the threat. But if I'm entirely honest, I think it's another demonstration. Like not to go back to Tottenham, but obviously we watched Tottenham more, and it's an example that you just rings fresh in the mind. When Tottenham went 2-0 down against Brighton, Tottenham then had 98% of the momentum for the next 70 minutes of the play, 60 minutes of the play. And it was only when we got our equaliser that Brighton came alive again and tried to win it. And I understand the narrative of like, you've got something to hold on to, so sort of sit in and protect. But sometimes attack is the best form of defence. And I think that Manchester City showed that they went there clearly to play a counter-attacking football, to play into the hand. They get the breakaway goal. Haaland was sensational. And then as soon as that happened, everything it was all Arsenal. But look, one of the things I think that people need to realise is that if you're going to sit back and invite the teams on, even teams that right now are set up like Arteta has done, which is so lacking creativity, they're so cautious, like they're so unbelievably negative in their approach to football when they have some of the greatest players in the Premier League that could often they could destroy teams if they wanted to. But that's
what I'm saying.
But Arteta is setting them up in a really weird way in an attempt to be different, in an attempt to keep the kind of, I don't know if he's doing this kind of like, he overanalyzes it. I don't know if it's like one of these things where he wants to,
is he talking about Thomas Edison again? Is he going for the Edison light bulb moment?
Sort of nonsense.
Okay, Sean,
just quickly. Do you remember was it last season or the season before when he deliberately like played boring, protective,
against Man City
football, so that as the season, so he wouldn't tire his team out because he could fight on all fronts. And as the season went through into the final stages, then he'd be able to let the rails off, unleash the reins or whatever. And it still didn't work, right? It almost worked. Like they got better and they were getting better during the final stages. But by that point, the gap was too deep. And I just wonder whether he's doing something silly again. I think he thinks he's too clever for his own good.
Oh, he definitely thinks he's clever. So I'll ask you the question, Sean. Are Arsenal a £1 billion Stoke City? And also are or should Arsenal fans be expecting more for the money and the players they've signed? Because I look at that squad and I think to myself, they're a steamroller. I'm going to give you an example here, right? Now, Saka's been out with his injury. In comes Noni, right? Noni is
on ACL now, right?
Noni's out, right? But it's all right because Saka's back now. So he can fit into that side, okay? They've had Odegaard, he's out. They got a replacement. They have replacements. They got Havertz is out. No worries. We've got replacements. Even when they don't have the striker, they have replacements. What should Arsenal fans be expecting? Because, I mean, for me, when I look at that squad, from front to back, they are the strongest squad in the Premier League, in my opinion. And therefore, they should be going in with the confidence to be winning every single game. Not what Mikel Arteta's doing, is coming with a pragmatic approach. You go with a pragmatic approach when you're someone like Thomas Frank, where you've got half your jigsaw pieces missing and you know you don't have enough in certain areas.
But what's the motivation for him to be pragmatic? For me, I think he's trying to invoke some bigger perspective strategy where he still wins games. He's still there or thereabouts. He's still within 3 points come March. And then he's hoping that everyone else is exhausted or injured and that his pragmatic approach has kept an extra 30% in the battery relative to his peers, and that then he can unleash the reins like he tried a couple of years ago, and it didn't work, Johnny. It didn't work. I agree with AJ here. AJ saying that his biggest problem, Arsenal's biggest problem, is Arteta because he's not making the most of it. I agree, but I don't think it's because he's deliberately boring. I think it's because he thinks he's smarter than he is. He ain't that clever. Every year you hear some bullshit from Arteta about, playing "You'll Never Walk Alone" on the training ground. All that crap, all that absolute waffle that is so cringy to world-class footballers that look at that and go, "What are we doing here? What are we doing here?" Stop trying to imagine that you're some philosopher. Stop trying to pretend like we're taking instructions from someone that if he wasn't a football manager, he'd be an Oxford professor. You ain't that smart, Mikel. Just play your team well. Get them to play good football and you can batter teams. But once again, his stupidity in the way he sets teams up will be good enough, or be good, but not good enough, because other teams out there just get on with it. And something will happen. There's always some reason, and he'll find an excuse. He'll find a rationale, whether it's the ball or it's never him. It's never him. It's never his stupidity. It's the ball. It's the goal. It's the pitch. It's the schedule. It's whatever it is.
He didn't even want to answer the bloody question yesterday after the game. He didn't want to answer the question. Why you keep asking me these questions? Because that's what you do in a bloody press conference, right? Listen, with that squad, better to have tried and failed than never to have tried at all. I think if they'd have gone for the jugular, right, and gone for Man City were there for the taking. No two ways about it. They looked tired after the game in midweek. Spurs, a lesser Spurs team, absolutely played them off the park. And I think Arsenal could have played them off the park yesterday. And to the person who was going on that have Arsenal got a better squad than Liverpool, what I'm saying is front to back, strength in depth. Yes, I believe they have, because Liverpool are very, very rocky in centre-back. They can't afford. If they can get through to January without losing Virgil van Dijk or Konate, they'll be all right. But if Arsenal lose Saliba, they got Mascara, or if they lose, they got White, or they got Hincapié. They've got so much depth in all the defensive positions and in the middle. Yeah, I mean, Uphill Gardener's saying, Johnny, City never played a back nine against Spurs. They didn't. And I think that's to do with the fact that, as I said before, I believe that they were very tired after that Napoli game. It took a lot out of them. And I think...
Yeah, they played a day later. Right, but listen, Johnny,
they play Tuesday and they play Thursday.
Oh, you're right. 2 days.
Tuesday at 5:30 as well.
But you know what will happen later on in the schedule? At some point between next week and January, when the league, the Champions League table thing is the league phase is over. At some point, Arsenal will be asked to play on a Wednesday night, and we'll have to play on a Saturday morning at 12:30, which is not as bad as what City have to do. It's not as bad as what other teams have to do, but it will just be like the way the cookie crumbles, and he'll complain. he'll complain like it's unfair because it's happening to them, forgetting that it's happened to City, it's happened to Spurs, it's happened to Newcastle, it will happen to Palace, it will happen to all of them because there's so many games that have to be crammed in. At some point, somebody has to play within like 80 hours.
Well, look at us. Look at us on the weekend. I mean, Sky have demanded that we play Wolves at 8 o'clock on Saturday evening, even though we got to fly to Bodo to the Pole to play on Tuesday in the Champions League, right? And it's a tricky place to go there on that pitch. And
so 72 hours difference exactly, right? Exactly. 72 hours, 8 until 8 or whatever. At some point that will happen to Chelsea, to happen to Arsenal, but they'll moan about it like it's unfair against them. And you know what? Like Arteta has this habit of when he moans, he gets listened to, everybody else just gets on with it. But at the same time, I think that I completely agree with AJ. Completely agree with AJ. In fact, I answered someone put the tweet out saying, what will be Arsenal's excuse? Oh, sorry, what will be the reason why Arsenal won't win this year? And I said Arteta, which was back in like July or something, because I genuinely think that this guy, his biggest hang-up, if he's a good tactician, he's good. He's a good manager. He kicks every ball. If you are a player, you want that. You can only imagine what that's like in the dressing room. If you buy into his bollocks, you'll probably buy into a lot of it. But I think the geezer thinks he's too smart for his own good, and he's always playing 4D chess. And ultimately, he just needs to let the reins off and realize that you'll cross the bridge of the run-in if you get there and you're still in the race. And it's tactics like this at this stage of the season that are going to cost him, because Liverpool aren't even getting out of second gear at the moment, Johnny.
Not at the moment.
They're already 5 points ahead, and there's only 5 games played, bro.
Do you know what makes me laugh? I've got to say this, right? So you have a situation where Nonny is going to Arsenal. He's linked to Arsenal. The Arsenal fans are in meltdown. We don't want this guy, right? He's rubbish. All the fans, all the Arsenal channels, we don't want him. We don't want him. We don't want him, right? Chelsea fans, ha, 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 we've sold you Nonny. Nonny goes to Arsenal, absolutely rips it up. Their best player. Arsenal fans, we love Nonny. Nonny's unbelievable. Chelsea fans, why did we sell Nonny? Why did we sell Nonny when the stats clearly say that he's one of our best performing players and he shouldn't sell? Now,
who was right?
Now, Nonny's got injured. Arsenal fans in meltdown. Our best player has just left, right? You couldn't write it all in the space of like 5-6 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. I hear you. Listen, that's the fans' prerogative, right? The fans are allowed to be emotional. The fans are allowed to be, flip-flops. The fans are allowed to, just be passionate. The manager isn't. The manager's there he's paid a lot of money to get the best out of what he's got, and he's got a lot to get the best out of. He's been given a lot to get the best out of. And once again, his over-analysis, his overthinking, his thinking that he's the smartest guy in the room when he really isn't, all of that bollocks is going to cost Arsenal. And as much as I don't care, I'm here for it because I'm a Tottenham fan. I watch a lot of Arsenal fan TV because, I find it funny, not the specific channel, but just, all the various channels. Increasingly, Johnny, I'm leaning into the people that are the ones that whinge and moan and that have always whinged and moaned about Arsenal, despite how good they've been relative to everybody else over the last 3 or 4 years. The ones that are right are the ones that think Arteta is shit.
I can tell you one thing.
I genuinely think that they are right. I think he is the biggest problem at Arsenal.
I'll tell
you. Not their owners, not their team, not their squad. It's the manager.
You give Oliver Glasner that team, you're going to win the league. That's my opinion. Because he's
yeah.
I mean, honestly, I just think that
Unai Emery. They hounded Unai Emery out of there, right?
Yeah. Dan Potts. CC mentioned Dan Potts. I really like Dan. Really nice guy. Did a pre-game with Dan last season. Really, really nice guy. In fact, I'd love to get him on here, Sean. I don't know if he's too big now to come on here, but it would be nice if he did pop on. Whilst we're doing this, because I always get accused of having a go at Ange Postecoglou. So for you Forest fans and you Ange sexuals out there, right? Here's some positive spin. on Nottingham Forest and Ange Postecoglou. Nottingham Forest had 63% of the possession in their draw against Burnley. That is the most they've had in any Premier League game since their return to the league in 2022. Elliot Anderson completed 98 passes. Zinchenko, in his first Premier League start for Forest, completed 88 passes. Nobody else. 88 passes. Nobody else has made 80 successful passes in the 4 seasons they've been back in the league. This increased focus on passing is a significant shift in style. In total, it was the first time that Nottingham Forest had completed 500 passes in a Premier League game in that period, breaking the record of 484 passes set in a home defeat to Everton in what proved to be the penultimate home game of Steve Cooper's time in charge. I mean, it says delve deeper into the data and the scale of the shift under Postecoglou only becomes more obvious. Forest had 24 pass sequences of 10 or more in the game against Burnley. That is 6 more than their next highest total across the last 4 seasons. In fact, when you look at all the teams in the league, they've had 10 plus, had 24 10 plus passes in that game. And then the behind that was
in phases of play, yeah?
Yeah. Crystal Palace. Well, just to say that August last year, Crystal Palace managed 18. And then you go back to like 2023, Bournemouth 13. So, it's obvious that things are
changing, not necessarily improving. Let's be honest, right? They still haven't got a win. Right?
They haven't. Is it all show and no go? If you add in the fact that Forest also had 13 of those sequences away to Arsenal in his first game, that total ranking in the top 12 of their 119 league games since 2022, even in his first game. So,
but they're not doing anything with it, mate. Like they can't. They drew 1-1 with Burnley. They lost to Swansea.
So I would say to you,
they've got Real Betis on Wednesday night, mate. Like, they're going to get.
Listen. I think Nuno has done the dirty too. I'm just saying, because I have to give balance here, because I always get accused of, only spouting the negative.
Why is it a positive? Why is it a positive to change what was a winning formula?
Because what they're saying is that he's only been there for 3 games, and you can already see he's building up to the phase. Right. Well, let's see what happens.
What you can see is a massive polar shift in how the previous manager, who got them 6th in the league, did his football. But what you can also see is a continuation of the Ange Postecoglou outcomes. His input might be different to Nuno. His output is incredibly different as well. Nuno would have beaten Burnley. Nuno would have maybe got a draw at Arsenal. Nuno certainly would have got past Swansea without conceding 3 goals.
They beat Liverpool away. Forest.
The last time Liverpool lost a game was at Forest. The last time Liverpool didn't score a goal was at Forest. Like this is the shift, right? What is it that you want? Do you want output, or do you want input that's prettier? I think the balance has to be there, but I didn't think Nuno played particularly nasty football at Nottingham Forest. No. I thought they were quite good to watch in their own style.
Yeah, when you look at Elanga,
it's his own counter-attacking football. It's not negative football. It's negative if you don't do anything with the ball.
I like counter-attacking football, to be honest with you. I like that pace of the counter-attack, that break along, and banging the goals in. Their first goal, Man City's goal yesterday was, great counter-attacking goal. But guys, if you're in the chat, please hit the like button. We need to start hitting those like buttons. And guys, I know loads of you watch this show, but never bothered to hit the subscribe button. It's not a paying thing. You don't pay, doesn't do anything. All it does is it lets you find us when we're on, and it really helps us grow, because now's the quiet time for football channels. So we really need your help in sustaining us and helping us grow. We couldn't do it without you, so we really appreciate it. Sean, is there anything else? I don't know if I've got any.
No, I think. Listen, I mean, I'm trying to think. Is there any games on?
Yeah,
tonight?
I'll just give you a quick bit of news. Chelsea look like they're going to return for Mike Maignan because he's on a free in January. He can sign a pre-contract, especially after Sanchez display against Man U. United are refusing to leave their interest in Belieber. Everton are looking to move for an old favourite, Serge Reguilon. He's on a free, and
Oh, is he gone, or is it me that's gone? Has he disappeared? I think he might have Let me know. Can you still see me, or have you lost him? What's going on there, people? Is it me that's gone? Or I don't know. I never know who's gone. Tell me who's left. Johnny's gone. Johnny's gone. We haven't had this video for a while, people. It's time for Johnny's gone. Where is he?
Poof, and he's gone. Poof, and he's gone.
Oh dear, Johnny's gone. Listen, I'll let you go too. In terms of football this evening, there's very little going on. If you are interested in knowing what is happening around the world of football, then you've got this. You've got these things to look at, guys. Before we round off, you've got a little bit of Championship football, 8 p.m. Millwall against Watford. You got the Irish Premier League in Italian Serie A. You got Napoli taking the Pisa on. You've got Brazilian football. No, that was on last night. Sorry, and you got French League, Marseille against PSG, and you got Sporting against Moreirense. That's about it, really. Galatasaray against Consapor, and that's about it. That's all worth talking about, guys. We will leave it there. I want to say a massive thank you to all of you. Please do smash the like button. All you got to do is just hit the like, right? Drum the thumb, people. Drum the thumb. Smash the subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Johnny's sending me messages. We will leave it there. My laugh is way worse, J-Love. My laugh is way worse, but I'm born with it, mate. Can't do much about it. I'm not going to adapt now. I'm 41 years old. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. We'll leave it there, guys. Like, subscribe, and comment. We'll see you tomorrow as the Europa League, the Europa League gets going. I think tomorrow night. We'll start there. See you tomorrow, boys and girls. As always, bye.